Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Law&Crime. I'm Jesse Weber, and thanks for joining us. Let's get right into it on this Monday morning. Okay, let's get some perspective right now because we're going to break down everything that's happened so far in the Segura trial. Joining me is criminal defense attorney Tiffany Simmons. Tiffany, great to have you here on Law&Crime here on this Monday morning.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Okay, I want to start right now with the prosecution. After week one, we heard their opening statement. We've been seeing some of their witnesses. What do you think about the strength of their case?
I think that they have a lot of circumstantial evidence. However, it does not prove murder. One thing that stood out to me was the 8-4 split in the previous trial. Now, I've had a case that I had to try 3 times for my client, and we ended up in a full acquittal the 3rd time. So that stood out to me, that 8-4 split. So something is not adding up with the prosecution. The prosecution has to prove their case.
Okay, that's a great question. The thing is if they get a hung jury again, and let's not forget, Segura has been in jail for over 3,000 days, would they retry him a 3rd time?
Who's to say? I mean, it could depend upon the victim's family. A lot of times the victim's family, they want closure. They want to see someone being held accountable. And unfortunately, if this is a cartel hit, and quite honestly, it could be that. If she owed $100,000 in money, they are going to discipline you. They're going to discipline you. So, if this was a cartel hit, who knows who could be found accountable. So I think if the family wants some sort of closure, they would try to, ask the prosecution to try this a 3rd time.
Okay, we're going to get more into the defense's theory about what really happened here. I want to play more of the prosecution in their opening statement, and we're going to go into the evidence that they say they have against this man and see, is it strong enough? Is it beyond a reasonable doubt? Here's more of the state. Okay, so Tiffany, in your mind, what do you think is the strongest piece of evidence for the state? Is it the motive? Is it the possible DNA on the bathtub? Is it the idea here that he lied to police and he was engaging in suspicious behavior? What's the thing that stands out the most to you?
Honestly, I don't think anything stands out as strong motive, as a strong smoking gun for the state. I mean, one thing that I want to say is it's hard to believe that this man would kill his own kids that he helped raise over child support. As far as him not showing emotion, me dealing with a lot of my clients, sometimes Black males, they don't show emotion in that way. I don't know. One thing that could help the state is this phone situation and the phone being there, DNA at the house. Again, I don't necessarily feel as though that's strong because they had kids together, but that could be helpful to them. Again, a lot of circumstantial evidence, and I believe that it's going to just depends on how the state presents this evidence is what the jury is going to decide from.
Look, the defense made the point that this is a strong person. He has a strong personality. He doesn't like to show emotion, and maybe that could help explain it. But again, when you're talking about the horrific and brutal deaths of these people, how you show no emotion is something interesting. And we're going to maybe have an opportunity to talk more about his police interrogation tapes later on. But, Tiffany, the thing that's interesting here is some people might look at this and say, well, okay, defense, you're going to say that he lied because he was engaged in affairs. He was secretive. He didn't want the police to know. You're being brought in. You're being questioned about a quadruple homicide. Are you really going to not tell the truth because you're afraid of having your affairs exposed? So I guess that's the counter argument here. What do you think? Right.
Well, you'd be surprised what people will do in interviews. Some people lie. Some people tell the truth. The interview, I just don't know how I would weigh that right now. What I will say is that, he may wanted to hide the fact that he was having affairs, but that still doesn't mean that he's a murderer. That still doesn't mean he has blood on his hands.
Well, I'll tell you what we're going to do. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to see the other side. We're going to hear the defense's side. They presented a very long opening statement, very thorough, and we'll see if it holds water. We'll be right back right after this.